guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can see by the title, today's video is going to be a hermit crab tank cleaning. And boy, do I have some disclaimers to put in this video before we get started cleaning. The first thing I want to mention is that I do not clean my tank very often at all. In fact, I've mentioned many times, if you guys go back in my old hermit crab videos or on my hermit crab playlist, which I will have linked on the screen, you guys will know that I do not clean out my tank very often. I don't touch my hermit crabs. I don't pick my hermit crabs up. I don't bathe my hermit crabs. I generally just feed them, change their water, spot clean their tank, check on them just to make sure they're not dead or anything, and then I leave them alone. And while I understand there are a variety of ways to keep your hermit crabs and how to set up their tanks, and there's different depths of substrate, there's different substrate options and all of those things, I have found that my method of taking care of my hermit crabs and the way that I set up their enclosure and all of the different things that I choose to use do work for my hermit crabs. Also, I have done lots of research. I will link lots of resources down below as to where I get a lot of my research from, and I have read and went over time and time again the Hermit Crab Association. So if any of you guys are questioning my substrate choice, I do want to mention again that I do choose to use only Eco Earth in my tank that's very moist. I don't like to use sand for my hermit crabs. That is a personal choice. You can use whatever substrate that you would like as long as it is safe for your hermit crabs to be able to dig in and molt in, and also holds moisture for them. But according to the Hermit Crab Association, Eco Earth is perfectly fine by itself for hermit crabs as long as it is deep enough and moist enough. Just to clear up anyone's worries about that. Also, I do give my hermit crabs a very varied diet. However, I do choose to use some store-bought foods as well as fresh fruits and vegetables. Again, that is my personal choice. I have been doing that for over 9 years, and I understand that there are people who will disagree with me, and I completely respect your opinion. Feel free to voice them all you would like, and I have done a lot of research on the subject, so if you would like to talk more about any of that, feel free to comment down below. Also, I am going to be putting a minimum of 6 inches of substrate in my 20-gallon long tank. As you guys know, I do have a 20-gallon long, which is what I keep my hermit crabs in, but I assure you my substrate will be perfectly deep enough for my crabs. I currently have 2 hermit crabs, SpongeBob and Gunner. They are about 10 or so years old. I've had them for 9 years, but they were a pretty good size whenever I did get them, so I'm not really sure exactly how old they are, as there's no real way to age a hermit crab. I will be providing my hermit crabs with salt water, dechlorinated fresh water, which is basically water that doesn't have any chlorine in it, as well as a variety of different foods, fruits, and vegetables. And of course, last but not least, if you are watching this video and you're here to watch me clean my hermit crab tank, thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. But I do want to tell you, each and every one of you watching, this video is in no way, shape, or form encouraging you to go out and buy hermit crabs. Let me be very clear. I do not support the hermit crab industry. I will never buy hermit crabs again. I discourage any of you who are considering getting hermit crabs from getting them. Please do not support the horrible hermit crab industry. I have an entire video on the hermit crab industry and how awful they abuse crabs. If you would like to watch that video, I will link it for you down below in the description as well. If you are here watching this video, welcome to my channel. I really appreciate it, and I truly hope that you enjoy watching me clean my hermit crab tank. So I think that's everything that I wanted to say. If you guys enjoy this hermit crab tank cleaning, feel free to subscribe down below. I hope you guys really enjoy this tank cleaning. Okay, so here is all of the supplies I'm pretty much going to be using to clean this tank. I do have a fresh bag of Eco Earth that I just bought the other day. Then I have some dechlorinated water here. This is going to be to moisten the Eco Earth, and also it's going to be added into their freshwater bowl. I also have a really large heat pad here. So I used to have a heat pad on the back of my tank, but I haven't been needing it recently because it's been really warm in my pet room. But I've been monitoring the temps of my tank, and I don't like it to drop below 73, so I am going to be adding a heat pad just to ensure that it stays up in the high 70s and they stay warm enough. So we're going to be attaching this new heat pad today. And I also have this plant, which I recently bought. You guys probably saw this in my seriously huge reptile haul. We're going to be adding in some foliage and some additional plants and things today for them to climb on. I think they're really going to love that. And then everything else that we're going to be using is either already in the tank or it's like their food and vegetables and stuff. So as we clean, I'll show you guys all that stuff. Also, I do not use sand in my tank. I do choose to just use deep moist Eco Earth. We're going to be putting it in there really deep, over 6 inches of substrate for them. I don't use sand, and I know that this is highly debated in the hermit crab community. I have done all of my hermit crab research, and in several websites, including the Hermit Crab Association, it does say you can use just moist Eco Earth, or you can use a half and half mixture of Eco Earth and sand. So that's what I'm going to be using today. So as you can see, here is the corner of my tank. This is actually my my Repti-Bark corner. I usually do a fourth of the tank in Repti-Bark, and that's usually where I'll have like a food or water bowl sometimes, or just their shell maul where they can come and change shells if they want. So the first thing we have to do is get our hermit crabs and put them in a warm cup of dechlorinated water. Now I do this for their safety. Obviously I can't clean this tank out while they're in here, so I will be picking them up and moving them. I very, very rarely ever hold them. I haven't held them in several months now, so I'm gonna be picking them up and putting them in their dechlorinated water. But unless you are doing a tank clean, I personally do not recommend holding your crabs ever. All right, buddy. This is SpongeBob. He is my bigger one. And as you can see, he is beautifully colored. Look how dark his claw is. It's so pretty. So we're gonna be putting him in the warm water as well. There you go, bud. Now they'll just sit in here and crawl around and soak while I clean their tank. Okay, so here's an overview. As you can see, my tank is an absolute wreck right now, but I've already taken out and stacked up all my bowls right here. Those need to be cleaned and sanitized and rinsed out really good, which we'll do later. So the first thing we're gonna do is start boiling all the shells, and we're also gonna dip the plants in the boiling water to sanitize them. I also like to dip the wooden decor in the water. Some people like to microwave it. Honestly, I guess it's just your discretion, but I just dip it in boiling water to sanitize it, and I find that works fine. Please make sure to double and triple check all your shells and make sure there are no crabs inside before you take them out and boil them. So we're gonna check and double check and triple check. Now I know that my 2 crabs are not in any of these shells, but it's always a good idea to check multiple times. Patrick is helping me dump out all of the old substrate, and then we are gonna obviously spray this out really, really good and clean it. There's a lot of moist substrate kind of clumped in there. So while I'm waiting for my tank to dry, and then I'm gonna obviously wipe it down really good, we're gonna go on and boil all the shells and decor. So here I just have a large pot of water. We're gonna bring this to a boil, and we're gonna go on and add all of our shells in. So here, all the plants and foliage we're gonna be boiling, but we are gonna be dip boiling the plant. We're not gonna be putting them in there and leaving them. We're gonna be dipping them in the boiling water just to sanitize them for a few seconds. All right, the shells are boiling really well. Now we're gonna go on and dip all the foliage in there just for a few seconds to sanitize it, just so that it doesn't melt the plastic or anything. I basically just take it and I dip it in the boiling water, being very, very careful, dipping all the sides to make sure, just to sanitize it. Even though I don't have mites or anything in my tank, it's just a good idea to sanitize everything during every clean. And then we're gonna take the wooden stick and we're gonna just drop it in there, roll it around a little bit. So my tank is completely emptied. It's also washed out, dried, and sanitized. So now we can start going on and adding all of the moist substrate in here while we wait for the shells to boil. This Eco Earth is pretty dry, so we're gonna have to make sure that we make it really moist with our dechlorinated water. So you want to make sure that you have at minimum 6 inches of Eco Earth. As you can see, I have 6 inches all the way across. You can obviously make it deeper if you want, but my crabs are still pretty small at about 2 inches for as small as they are. And as you can see, it is 6 inches all the way across. So now that I have my substrate in there at 6 inches deep, we're gonna go on and dump our dechlorinated water in just to make sure the substrate's extra, extra moist for the hermit crabs. Definitely getting better. This is getting a lot better. Once you can mold the Eco Earth in your hand into like a ball, then you know it's moist enough, but it's not soaking wet. So the first thing I'm gonna go on and apply is the heat pad. Now this is the medium heat pad. It's big enough for a 30 to 40 gallon tank. And even though this is a 20 gallon long, I feel like this is gonna be perfect for putting out the right amount of heat for my hermit crabs. This is an under tank heater. However, because hermit crabs dig down to molt and bury, you obviously never want to put this on the bottom of the tank because you don't want to burn your hermit crabs. So we are going to be placing this on the back side of the tank. I'm going to put it down here in the lower back of the tank just to keep the tank warm on this end, and then they'll have a cool end down there. So I went on and put it down on this end so they can have a cool end down here and a warmer end back here. Now I attach all of my plants with strings on the back of my tank so that when the hermit crabs climb up it doesn't fall over. Obviously you can attach your plants however you'd like. I just find that this works really well for me. Okay, so it is all done and completely finished. I'm going to show you guys, kind of go over it piece by piece of what is all going on inside here. So we'll start over here, and basically this is just a ton of artificial plants and foliage. I did add this really cute little Venus flytrap decor that I recently bought. I think that's so cute, so I decided to put that in there because it's fun. Then I have some wooden climbing things. This is actually a little wooden tunnel hide. It's like a little half log that I decided to add in here. They used to have one of these a long time ago, but I gave it to someone, so I did buy them another one. Then we have just some old plants that we've had for a long time, and then I have their new 40-gallon heater pad on the back. Then we have a little igloo. We have another plant here that they love to climb up to the top of this because it's really strong and really tall. Then I have their little pineapple hide over in this corner that they absolutely love, and then Gary, their little snail. Fresh and saltwater pools, as well as their food bowl here. I always get tons of comments on what I feed my hermit crabs because it, again, is highly debated. So much of hermit crab care is so highly debated, but I love to give my hermit crabs a really wide variety. Some of it is prepackaged, most of it is fresh. These are just some of the general vegetables and fruits that I do feed my hermit crabs. We have some fresh romaine, some carrots, some red bell peppers, some strawberries. Then we have some dried veggies, and then I do have a little bit of Hikari pellets because I really like Hikari pellets. But that is what I feed my crabs, as well as I have their salt water and their fresh dechlorinated water. All right, we're ready to put them back in there now. All right, Gunner and SpongeBob, y'all are free to roam. Hope you enjoy. Usually after tank cleaning, they get really excited and they love to climb over everything and check everything out and explore. Have fun, SpongeBob. Okay, so here is the finished tank. I have the hood light back on. I also have the heat pad plugged in. I will have to get a Inkbird probe like I have on Lemon's tank to plug the heat pad in to make sure that it doesn't overheat. It's just good to have a probe to plug into the outlet to use for the heat pad. Here you can see I have my temperature probe because I do have a thermometer that is hooked here on the front of the tank. Here is my thermometer on the front of the tank. It is reading about 75 degrees, and it is nighttime, so that's pretty good. 75 is a good temperature, so definitely have a thermometer on the tank so you can monitor your tank temps at all times. And then as you can see, I did add their cuttlefish. They absolutely love cuttlefish bone, and it's a really good source of calcium for them, so I did add that into their food bowl. But yeah, that's pretty much the entire tank. The only two things I added in here is I plugged in the heat pad. I still need to get an Inkbird probe to monitor the temps. I have my thermometer, which is reading really good and warm for them, and then I also added the cuttlefish, but that is pretty much it. The tank is completely done, and I think it looks so good. Okay guys, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget, this video in no way, shape, or form is encouraging anyone, anywhere to go out and buy hermit crabs. But with that being said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little bit about how to take care of hermit crabs, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Be kind. Bye.